Guys, Travis Gillespie, and we're going to look at the classifying of real numbers. Remember earlier we just went over what real numbers were. Now let's actually classify them. I'm going to change my color to black here, and let's actually get some new color to write onto black. And the first thing I want to do is write what all names apply to these following values. Let's first take a look at the square root of 3. And before we even move further from here, I don't have a calculator on me. I don't know what this actually equals without calculating it or writing it down. So I'm going to use my brain and say, hey, wait a second. The square root of 1 is 1. Also, the square root of 4 is 2. And I could actually display this on a number line as follows. Here's the number 1. Here's the number 2. These are where the square roots of 1 and the square roots of 4 land. Don't forget arrows and the number 0. Arrows moving. This is supposed to be a 0 here. It's an ugly 0. But it's a 0 still. So the square root of 3. Well, the square root of 3, it falls between the square root of 1 and the square root of 4. So I know since the square root of 1 equals 1, the square root of 4 equals 2, I know the square root of 3 cannot be a whole number because it's not a perfect square. Therefore, it's got a decimal. Well, it's got to be something 1 point something something something. I don't know what it is because I don't have that calculator, but I do know that since this square root of 3 is a number that's not a perfect square, you will consider it an irrational number. Furthermore, since irrational numbers are a part of the real number system, it is also a real number. Okay, let's take a look at another one here. Now the second one we'll look at, let's look at negative 58.85. And 58.85, well, you can ask yourself, say, hey, is the decimal repeating or is it terminating? And also, is it not repeating or is it not terminating? Well, you can see that this decimal terminates after 5, therefore it is a rational number. And since rational numbers are a part of the real number system, you say, hey, this guy is real. It's a real number. All right, let's look at another one. And finally, our last number that we'll deal with, let's look at the square root of 9 over 3. So what you would say here is let's calculate this out some, because the square root of 9 divided by 3 is actually, since the square root of 9 equals 3, it equals 3 over 3. Well, you can calculate out 3 over 3 to just equal 1. So it equals 1. And now from here you can start to say, hey, guys, I know some facts. One, I have a fraction, and it is 2 integers, non-zero in the denominator, so this is a rational number. Furthermore, 1 is an integer because of integers are all numbers including 0, all positive numbers including 0, so this has got to be an integer. Furthermore, integers also include negative numbers. This is a whole number because it includes 0. 1 is a part of the set that includes 0, so this is a whole number. And finally, since all 3 of these sets are part of the real number system, it's got to be a real number. And that is the final answer.